Well, king and queen, what happened? He spoke. Well, queen, yes. King, no, one more night. Well, to make a long story a little longer, the prince, the girl, 3 witnesses, 3rd night. Tell me a story. I'm dying tomorrow. I need courage to face my death. We don't know stories. We've never been to Words Aloud. We've never gone to hear storytellers at school or libraries or anywhere. Would you listen to my story if I told it to you? Well, listen. And this is the 3rd story she told. There was once a man who loved women, and he dreamed of them every night. And they flew through his dreams with golden wings, the faces of women. They were firebirds. And one day when this man who dreamed of women was walking through the forest, there was a blaze of golden light. He was scared, and he hid. And when he opened his eyes, there in front of him was a firebird, more beautiful than any of his dreams. And she was taking off a suit of golden feathers and stepping into a spring of water to bathe. He couldn't take his eyes off her. She took off her feathers, she bathed in the water, and while she was bathing, he stepped out of his hiding place and he took all the feathers and he ran away. He hid them in the forest. When he came back, she had stepped out of the water. She was looking here and looking there for her golden feathers. He came up to her and he said, "You look cold. Here's my coat." He put it around her bare shoulders. And then he said, "You're not from around here, are you?" She said, "No. I come from very far away. Look, I have a cabin not far away. Come up there. You can be warm. You'll be safe. I'll take care of you. I love you." And she had no choice. Anyway, she went with him. She went with him. And she stayed, and it was a nice cabin, and she did feel safe, and he did love her. And a few years went by, and anyway, she became pregnant. And one day she had a little boy. And the boy grew up till he was about 4 or 5 years old. And when he was about 5 years old, he came running into his mother. She was in the house, and she said, "Mommy, I found something beautiful. I want to show you." And he took his mother by the hand and led her out into the forest, down the trail, along the hill, down into the forest. And he moved away a few leaves. From the hollow of a log, there was a blaze of golden light. "Isn't it pretty, Mommy?" "Oh, yes," she said. "It's beautiful." And she reached in and took her suit of golden feathers out of the log. "Let's go home now. It's time for your nap." And she took the little boy by the hand, and they went back to the cabin. She said, "Thank you. This is very beautiful." And she sat by the bed and stroked her son's head as he fell asleep, and with the other hand she held her golden feathers. And the girl stopped her story. And she said to the 3 witnesses, "Now that the woman can fly again, what should she do?"
She should fly away with her son.
With her son? Fly away with her son is a nice answer. The 3 witnesses said, "We don't know. That's the hardest riddle of all." But the prince had been listening very carefully. He opened his mouth and he said, "I have an idea." She said, "I'm very pleased to hear you say that. What is your idea?" He said, "I can't tell you what the woman of your story should do. Your story is bitter and sweet at the same time." And as I listened, I thought to myself, if I were the man of that story and I had seen the firebird in her true form, I would do anything to keep her with me. But then I thought, if I were the woman of your story and I had once come from the sky, I would do anything in the world to return to it. I cannot say what the woman of your story should do. And she said to the prince, "That is a wise answer. Not all stories are meant to be judged. With some you simply hear and remember, and I will tell you what happened next." She kissed her son without waking him up. She stepped to the threshold of the house. She put on the golden feathers. She flew away. And when her husband came back, she was gone. And the prince said, "What happened to the little boy?" And she said, "Some people say that when he woke up and found his mother was gone, he began to cry. And he cried so much, he lost his voice and became silent. And other people say when he woke up, there on the pillow next to him was a golden feather, and it brought him luck and courage and joy and wealth all the days of his life. And in the morning when they came in, what happened? What happened? 3 witnesses. He spoke, he spoke, he spoke. And even the king believed it. And so they turned to the girl and said, you have done what no man could do. You have made our son speak. What would you like as your great reward? Had she been thinking about rewards? No, just telling stories, telling stories. She couldn't think. For the first time, she had nothing to say. So the prince got up, walked across the room, bent down, looked at her, and said, choose me. She said, I have an idea. I'll take him. Bring a long story to an end. They were married. It was a grand celebration. In the place of honor was sitting Bubby, Granny, Nona, Oma. The grandmother had a bouquet of wildflowers she had picked that morning before dawn in the forest. And as the girl walked by, she gave her the flowers and she said, you see, you should always listen to your granny.